Can we all hear? Fantastic, good stuff. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your lunch, and welcome to the Exchange stage. So next here on the Exchange, we are tackling a topic that affects every single one of us in the events industry, which is, of course, wellbeing. So from Burnout to Balance, Redefining Wellbeing in the Events Industry is brought to you in partnership with the Burnt Chef Project, which is a global recognised movement that is breaking stigma, building resilience and helping professionals thrive, not just survive, in a fast-paced, high-pressure environment. So in this session, we've got Angelina Adamo, who will share practical tools for managing stress, supporting colleagues, and creating open conversations about mental health. Because looking after yourself shouldn't just be a personal goal, it should be an industry standard. Okay, so please give a big warm welcome to Angelica.
Hello, can you hear me? Amazing. Well, ironic, but this is anxiety inducing, so I'm really nervous, so just bear with. But I am from the Burnt Chef Project. I have been an ambassador for the last 5 years. I'm now Chief Ambassador of the West Midlands and further afield. And today I'm just here to speak to you, introduce you to the project, try and get you a little bit comfortable with what we do and who we are. So redefining wellbeing in the events industry. I have been a chef for 10, 11 years now. Not so much front of house, I've had a little bit of front of house training, but very much back of house. And it's hard, and I'm sure it's hard in events too. I have owned my own private catering company for the last 5 years now, and doing wedding events and conference catering, you get one shot. So it is stressful environment. So I think you, as well as everyone in the restaurant industry, need the Burnt Chef Project more than ever before. So who we are, we were founded by a guy called Chris Hall. Chris Hall started off as a KP, like probably most of us in the hospitality industry did, and then he went on to be a supplier for restaurants and so on, and hotels. He saw firsthand how damaging the industry was becoming and how almost just accepted it was to treat your staff like shit. And he thought, right, I'm going to put a stop to this and make the movement. So he founded the Burnt Chef Project back in 2019. So we're now over in 60 countries supporting individuals and businesses, and our mission is to eradicate mental health stigma and ensure the well-being of hospitality professionals worldwide. So I don't know whether you've heard this statistic before, but 4 out of 5 of us suffer with mental health issues. And it's quite a staggering number, really. When I heard that, I've got a team of 6, and to know that that figure in that room is so prominent made me want to do something about it. We all experience long hours, high pressure, and customer-facing environments, and especially for you guys, you're in events, you're customer-facing, you're speaking to the customer direct. Yeah, being in a kitchen is really stressful, but I don't have to deal with the first-hand complaints, the phone calls. Couples in weddings or people that have just booked a conference don't know the amount of hours that have just been put in to get that event to where it is. It might just look like a coffee station for 20 people, but the amount of planning that's gone on for 6 months to get that booking, that they don't realise that. So it's so much high pressure. Recruitment, retention. I remember working in hotels and there'd be like 10 to 12 people in a sales team, and now it's 1. So the recruitment is really hard. Having impact of high turnover, everyone knows that everything's just so much more expensive now. To make that margin is just so much harder. When I worked in chains, you know, you probably weren't costing the little bits of salt and the cooking oil, and that was just kind of a given. And now every, half a penny matters at the moment. It's so much more stressful. I don't think I would have blinked twice that my manager was going to sit me down for a P&L review. And I know when I sit my manager down for a P&L review, the absolute strike of fear on his face. It's not fun for anyone. It's really hard, and we're kind of here to help that. It's all about helping from the top, from employers to the employees. So our response. So we are trying to build as much awareness as possible. I normally carry out this kind of talk to college students, so this is a lot more scary. But we want to start from the bottom. We want to start from the bottom of and the start of their career. Why let it get so bad after 5 years, and then let them introduced to an organisation that care about their health? Why not start from the start? Let the I say kids lightly, but let the kids set their own boundaries when they go into a workplace. We offer talks to businesses. I've just recently gone and did a talk to Compass, a massive catering company that wanted their whole, employee system to know what was going on, and to almost pass on the fact that they care about their staff. We build community. We've got 400 ambassadors worldwide. So if there's any information that you ever need, I'm sure 1 out of 400 of us are willing to have that chat. We provide free training. There's an online academy that I think is really important. When someone comes to work for you, you always say, have you got your level 1 and 2 health and safety training? That's a given for a kitchen. Well, why can't Wellbeing and mental health be just as important? No one works for me unless they've done that training. They get training on really hard topics like suicide and postpartum and a woman's cycle that, some of my male colleagues and employers were like, I actually didn't understand that was what was going on with you. So I think that's really important. And we develop wellbeing first cultures, so educating business leaders and industry leading research. So starting from the CEOs of a company. If the CEO of a company doesn't care, then it's not going to get passed down. So the challenges for event professionals, like I said earlier, being in events is just so much of a greater stress. You have got one shot at that event. For a restaurant, you might lose that customer, but you clean down, then you start again the next morning. It's a little bit different. But for events, the stress and the pressure is always on. So for event bookers, sales and marketing teams, the pressure to meet sales targets and occupancy goals, irregular hours, not knowing when you start work, and your rota coming out on a Saturday night, and then you realise you're in work on a Monday, balancing creativity and commercial performance. This is also hard. I have my head chef come to me saying, Chef, can we put this on the menu? But knowing that it will cost me more to make that menu item than I could possibly ever sell it for, stubs growth and it stubs creativity. And emotional toll of rejections. Again, I'm a chef, I've never really had to deal with the front-facing, customer-facing role. But you have a bad night, you have a bad wedding that you've just set out for someone, that could be 150 complaints that were there on that wedding day. And you are also human, and mistakes happen. So that emotional toll that it takes. For events, long, high-intensity event days, staffing shortages and high turnover, managing guest experiences under stress, limited downtime between back-to-back events. And the result of this is burnout, disengagement, and reduced job satisfaction. And I always told myself, as soon as I started waking up in the morning being like, I can't be asked to go to work, would be the day that I handed in my notice. We spend more time at work than we do with our own families. And I kind of set that boundary in place that if I don't want to be here and I'm not being treated with the respect that I treat others, it's really time to call it quits and move on. and hold your bosses, your employers accountable to the fact that they have got a responsibility to look after everyone's mental health. Not very good at this clicking thing, am I? So how can we help as the Burnt Chef Project? So we are industry leaders, we have loads of partners, and we are driving the change for the industry. We partner with loads of big brands and loads of small brands, but we do loads of work with the likes of Malmaison, Voco, the Belfry. So if any of you are sitting here, either CEOs, employers or managers, please get in touch. It would be great for us to partner. It makes your company, your workplace so much more attractive, and it really holds people accountable. We offer tailored training for event sales and operations teams, workshops on stress management, resilience and team culture. Not so long ago, I had a girl working for me and in confidence came up to me and she said, Chef, I'm really struggling with panic attacks. So I spoke to the Burnt Chef Project and they came out and they did a breathing exercise. And they taught all of my staff how to breathe, how to get yourself out of the situations, how to prevent that from happening. We have posters all over the kitchen now, and it's just little things that help. We have leadership development focused on psychological safety, integration of wellbeing principles into event planning and client service models, and collaboration on campaigns to raise awareness across the wide industry. This could be a tiny little thing like having our logo on an apron. It says to the customer that we care about our employees, and it tells your employees that we care as well. We can do things like fundraising. These are not everyone's bag, but I recently did a 15-kilometre Tough Mudder to raise money for the charity. We do lots of ultra challenges. We did a skydive. They recently walked all the way to the top of Kilimanjaro. And we work really closely with a company called Raw Adventures. Now, you can go to Raw Adventures and say, look, we want to raise funds for the Burnt Chef Project. It's something that we care really deeply about. There's 100, there's 20, there's 6 staff members. What can we do? What will everyone enjoy? What's a reasonable cost to do that for? And Raw Adventures will put you a bespoke package together of loads of different options that you could do. It ticks the box for team building in your workplace, and you're also doing it for a really good cause. So we have got our core programs. That's not crossed over properly, sorry. But we do programs on mental health, leadership and management, stress and resilience, mental health first aid, which I think is incredible. So we offer now an accreditation to workplaces. So just like EHO would walk in and check fridges and the kitchen hygiene and behind the bar and make sure everything was clean and tidy, we now offer the same to come into your workplace and accredit you that your employer or your company is looking after staff. I think this is so appealing for you to recruit. I know that if I was ever be in a position to look for a job, my first thing now would be, do they actually look after staff? And I think this is a really good tick box, and it just makes your business and your company look loads more attractive. We offer training courses on inclusion and psychology, which I thought was really interesting. And I've seen these courses, and it just makes your team just open up to the wider region of what's inclusive, what's safe to say, what's banter, what's just not banter. Because as is in hospitality industry, is just so much, that was just banter. So to have a little bit of training to know what and what isn't cool to say was really, really good. We have lots of marketing opportunities that is free to get involved in. A share to someone's story, a like, a comment, a save does so much for us. We get so much traction on Instagram, the likes of LinkedIn, Facebook. I have no idea what X is. but apparently we do really well on there. Twitter, right. So please get involved, have a little follow, like and share all of our stuff. And we offer, every month we'll have like an arrow to go down and what we're going to talk about and what we're going to discuss. So the posts are really informative and they're good little quick things that you can either read out to your team or even share. This is a little quote from a guy called Kev Steele. Kev Steele works for a humongous company called Thomas Franks, who do loads of work with the Burnt Chef Project. They're really focused on supporting us, and that is a huge company that have just instilled it to all of their employees coming through the doors, which I think is incredible. We now have around 60 mental health first aiders that are there for our people when they need it the most. How cool is that? So any funds raised towards supporting the Burnt Chef Project, they go into our free 24/7 text-based support service. We have obviously the free education and training online, research that we do, and awareness campaigns. We also have a community and outreach, so we have lots of events, networks, ambassador programs, and we are one of very few that if you ask for our social impact reports, we will happily give you them to you. None of the money that goes to the Burnt Chef Project is used unless it's used for those things. If you want to learn more, please feel free to book a free consultation with our teams. You can partner with us, you can fundraise, you can stay connected on the websites or through social media. And we genuinely believe that together we can make this so much healthier in hospitality, in events, in the corporate world. The Burnt Chef Project isn't just for chefs, and we are genuinely here to support and help. So please feel free to just jot Matt's email address down if you have any more questions. He oversees all of the ambassadors, and then he might get you in touch with Mika, who follows out all of the training programs. But we are so excited to bring on more partners to the Burnt Chef Project, and we think that we can make some sort of change. But if you've got any questions, please let me know.